Let me tell you a story, not about someone else, but about me. I was once convinced I was on the edge of becoming a millionaire, but soon I had to borrow money just to survive. Because I forgot one simple truth. The market doesn't run on what you learn, it runs on the rules set by someone stronger than you. Have you ever wondered why you've studied every system, from Ichimoku to EMA, from price action to Fibonacci? Why you've watched hundreds of videos, followed the biggest trading channels, checked the news every single day. Yet somehow, after all that, your account is still bleeding. You win 3 trades, then blow it all on the 4th. It's not because you're wrong. It's because you're playing a game where no one told you the real rules. Let me be honest, I started with an account of nearly $5,000, fresh out of a course that promised to teach me to trade like a shark. First month, I won. Second month, even bigger wins. Third month, one non-farm payroll report. The market flipped and everything was gone. Not because I was bad, not because the system was flawed, but because the rules changed and I didn't see it. While I was staring at RSI, the sharks were staring at my psychology. While I was waiting for a double top confirmation, the big boys had been accumulating for 3 days. While I was expecting a drop, the whales triggered a fake pump, wiping out stop losses across the board. And just like that, I lost it all. Because I believed I understood how the market works. Now I know the market doesn't run on logic. It runs on psychology, where the strong don't have to be right. They just need to make the weak react wrong. Here's what you need to understand. Price doesn't move because of chart patterns. Price doesn't move because of indicators. Price moves because the one with more money manipulates more emotions. And that's why someone who studies everything can still lose, while someone who knows nothing about theory but watches where the money flows survives every storm. If you don't understand the rules, you are the prey. This is not a video about which indicator is best. This is a video to get you out of the sheep's role and help you see the market like a professional player. In the next 30 minutes, I'll show you why most beginners always lose, why the market intentionally creates fake signals, and most importantly, how to read the rules of the game as they're unfolding, just like the real trading masters do. Welcome to Buy Sell Limit, where truths are exposed, the game is broken down, and serious traders find real answers. You may have lost many times, but this time you'll finally understand why. I used to believe everything they said. I used to sit for hours watching videos with titles like Trade Supply and Demand Zones, Win Rate 90%, Simple Strategy to Make Thousands Daily, How to Use RSI to Perfectly Catch the Bottom. I took notes, I practiced, I backtested for days without rest. I thought, if they can make money, then so can I. But then, one day, I started asking questions. Why do the best educators always have tons of followers, yet none of them ever show a real account? Why do they preach their systems like gospel, yet never tell you the truth? That even if you follow every single step, you can still lose. And then I realized they don't teach you how to survive. They don't teach you how to think. They teach you how to depend. Depend on setups, depend on indicators, depend on expectations, depend on the idea that you must have trades every day, that you must enter a position just to feel like a real trader. But the market doesn't care if you studied the right method. It only cares if you understand the rules of the game. Those YouTubers, most of them aren't traders. They're content creators. They're good at videos, good at thumbnails, good at catching trends. But they're not good at surviving the market. And the worst part? They make you believe that learning a few tools is enough to beat the sharks. They make you feel like everything is under control, if only you study hard enough. But trading isn't about memorizing a formula. It's a psychological war. It's the art of reading people. It's the strategy of surviving in a world where truth is distorted by those who control the money. And if you don't realize that yourself, you'll keep losing. Losing in a logical way. Losing in a systematic way. Losing just like the millions of traders before you, who disappeared from the market without a trace. I'm not telling you this to blame anyone. I'm telling you because I used to be one of the believers. I used to take their words as my compass, and I lost everything just to learn one painful lesson, The market has no textbook. It only has rules. And those who understand the rules survive. That's why I made this video, not to teach you how to enter trades, but to show you something far more important. There is a hidden set of rules that governs everything. And if you don't understand them, you're not trading. You're being played. I still remember one trap, a setup so cruel that even now, thinking about it still stings. It was the moment I put absolute faith in the system I had just perfected. I had tested it across 3 years of data, high win rate, small losses, risk well managed. I told myself this time I'm going to win big. It was Friday night, non-farm payroll. The data came out beautiful. The market reacted exactly as expected. Price shot up instantly. I entered a large buy position, confident, full of anticipation. 15 minutes later, price reversed, like someone pulled a hidden string. Not just a pullback. It sliced through support levels like they didn't even exist, like no theory ever mattered. My stop loss got hit, and my account was down nearly 20% in one single night. I sat there completely numb, not because I lost money, but because I couldn't understand. Everything was right, so why did I still lose? Months later, after watching more and more traps unfold, I finally saw the truth. The market doesn't react to news. The whales exploit your expectations to lure you in exactly when they want to exit. I had been the prey, and the tragedy wasn't that I lost money. The real tragedy was that I lost confidently. I lost while believing I was right, and that was the most painful lesson the market ever taught me. You see, the market doesn't need to scare you. It just needs to make you confidently wrong. And once it does, the rest is easy. If you've never been caught in a trap like that, be careful. It comes faster than you think. But if you have, then you already understand why I had to make this video, because everything you see out there is just the surface. The real rules of the game lie underneath, hidden deep, and very few are willing to look. Let me be blunt. You were taught wrong from the very first day you entered the market. You were taught how to read charts, how to draw trend lines, how to count Elliott waves, how to set stop losses. But you were never taught how to observe the behavior of big money. You were never told that the market is a psychological game where the one with more money always has more power. And that is where the real story begins. The sharks don't care about the EMA lines you draw. They don't care if you use RSI or Bollinger Bands. They only care about one thing: what you're thinking and what you'll do with that thought. Because they know, when good news drops, you'll want to buy. When a head and shoulders pattern forms, you'll want to sell. When you see an engulfing candle, you'll jump into a trade. They know all of it. They create those signals. They drop fake bait to collect liquidity. They push news to stir emotion. They let price run in the expected direction, just enough to give you confirmation, and then slam it the other way. You think you're trading a strategy, but in reality, you're reacting to a system they designed. Don't believe me? Then think back to the last time your stop loss was hunted just before the reversal, the last time you waited for the perfect signal and price still went against you. The last time a piece of great news came out and the market dumped right after. That's not coincidence. That's the real rule book. The market doesn't move based on news. It doesn't move based on indicators. It doesn't move based on patterns. The market moves on money, and money flows to the least expected place. The sharks don't enter trades with you. They enter before you, and then they make you push price for them so they can exit. You can learn everything about technical analysis. But if you don't understand this, you're still the prey, programmed to lose. That's the truth. And I'm not telling you this to crush your confidence. I'm telling you so you can start to shift your mindset from searching for the perfect strategy to reading the real behavior behind price. Trading is a battlefield of psychology, and the winner is not the one who studies the most. It's the one who understands the rules of the powerful. I once met a man, one of the coldest players I've ever seen, not on a chart, but at an international poker tournament in Singapore. At the time, I didn't know he was a traitor. All I saw was a Japanese man, completely silent, not saying a word. His eyes deep, as if he could see straight through people's thoughts. We were both at the final table. I wasn't playing, just watching from the side. There was one hand I'll never forget. A young player, usually very cautious, suddenly made a massive 3-bet pre-flop. The Japanese man glanced, then shoved all in, with no hesitation, no long stare, no theatrics, just one smooth motion, like he had planned it all along. The young player froze. No one said a word. The air was razor tight. And then, he folded. And you know what sent chills down my spine? The Japanese man didn't sigh. He didn't smile. He didn't celebrate. He simply pulled his chips back, as if it was the most natural thing in the world. After the tournament, we exchanged a few words. That's when I found out. He was a full-time trader. No indicators, no chart patterns. He traded purely on two things: where the big money sits and how crowd emotions show up in price behavior. I asked him, "How did you know that guy would fold?" He took a slow sip of beer, then said quietly, "When someone tries to look unusually strong, it's often because they're hiding something weak underneath." That shook me, not because the answer was deep, but because I realized that's exactly how the market works. Whales don't bluff with words. They bluff with price action, with fake pumps against the trend, with false breakouts, fake volume spikes, moves that lure you in, and flip the other way the moment you feel certain. They don't need to convince you to believe. They just need to make you want to believe. And then he said something I've never forgotten. In poker or trading, whoever controls the emotions of others controls the entire game. That day changed how I saw the market. I stopped hunting setups. I started learning to observe. Who's really strong? Who's afraid? Who's acting unusual to hide something deeper? And slowly, I began to understand. Price doesn't reflect the truth. It reflects a carefully designed game meant to make you react the way the whales want. I'm not telling you this to sound dangerous. I'm telling you because I used to think I understood the market until I met someone who needed no patterns, no indicators, yet still won. Because he understood where the real rules are written. I once met a Vietnamese trader. He wasn't famous. No YouTube channel, no strategy shared online. He lived quietly, trading from a small room in Dalat, no flash, no noise. But I knew he was winning, consistently, year after year. I asked him, "What strategy do you use?" He just smiled. "There's no fixed strategy. I just observe the market like a mirror." A mirror? I was confused. He explained, "When the market is angry, I don't enter. When the market is euphoric, I step back. When everyone's panicking, I step in. I don't predict. I just listen to what the market is saying." It sounded abstract, but years later, I finally understood. He was trading psychology, not indicators. The crowd reveals their emotions through every candle. You just need to watch and recognize where you are in that emotional cycle. When price is rising fast, green candles flooding the chart, that's not strength, that's greed. And greed is the weakest emotion, the easiest to manipulate. When price crashes and panic spreads like wildfire, that's not the time to sell. That's the time to accumulate. But only those who aren't drowning in fear can see that. Want to know what the market is thinking? Don't ask other people. Just watch how price reacts to news. Watch how the crowd behaves at peaks and bottoms. Listen with your eyes. The market runs on a repeating cycle of emotions. Expectation, excitement, greed, anxiety, fear, despair, apathy, recovery, expectation again. Every massive rally starts from forgotten despair. Every deep crash begins in unchecked euphoria. The whales don't enter at tops or bottoms. They enter when the crowd's emotions are shifting. They don't guess the top. They sense fear about to take over. They don't catch the bottom. They see hope breaking apart. And that's why they're always one step ahead. If you're still obsessed with finding the perfect setup, you'll always be chasing the market. If you're still focused on being right or wrong, you'll always be manipulated. But if you learn just one thing, read the market like you'd read a human being's emotions. Then you're no longer playing by the crowd's rules. You begin reacting like someone outside the crowd. And that is where the real winning starts. remember another time, also in Dalat. We were sharing beers again, this time under a small wooden roof, while a light rain tapped gently on the eaves. No talk about markets, no talk about money, just two weathered men, sharing stories from what might be the loneliest profession in the world. At one point, I blurted out, "Do you ever watch those famous trading gurus online?" He gave a quiet chuckle, shook his head, and said something I'll remember for the rest of my life. Funny, painful, and brutally accurate. "You don't get it, man. Those guys wearing suits and glasses teaching trading online. Underneath, they're in boxer shorts, blowing accounts like it's breakfast." I burst out laughing. Couldn't help it. But then I fell silent. Because that line, it sliced straight through the polished image many people wear like armor. You know why it hit me? Because I used to believe in the crisp white shirts, the charts filled with arrows, the calm voices that sounded like they were reading from sacred textbooks. I used to think, if they speak that well, they must really know their stuff. Until I saw it for myself, a guy teaching hundreds of students who couldn't hold one account for 3 months. Another preaching steel psychology, who panicked and closed trades the moment non-farm payroll dropped. Someone bragging about an unbeatable system, but froze completely when the market went sideways, too scared to click a single button. I'm not saying this to mock anyone. I'm saying it because I used to be the one who trusted the wrong voices. And I didn't just lose money to the market. I lost money because I believed that the best speaker must be the best trader. But the truth is, those who talk the best rarely survive, and those who survive usually don't talk much. My friend isn't a funny guy, but that one line on a rainy night with the light buzz of beer hit harder than any course I've ever taken, because it made me realize something deceptively simple. What's real in trading isn't theory. It's behavior. It's cold blood. It's the ability to stay silent when the market is screaming in chaos. I'm not telling you this to attack anyone. I'm telling you so you learn to question the right things at the right time. So you understand this. If you're still searching for a mentor in a suit to guide you, you're not looking to fight. You're looking for comfort. But the market doesn't reward those seeking comfort. It rewards those who can stand alone, who can stay silent while the crowd is euphoric, and who understand that behind every clean chart is a blood-stained battlefield. And only those who observe, not react, make it out alive. Have you ever seen a real predator? It doesn't hunt in a hurry. It doesn't roar. It doesn't chase. It doesn't reveal itself. It moves slowly, blending into the tall grass, eyes locked onto its target. And the moment that prey lets its guard down, just for a second, it strikes. Fast, precise, lethal. Trading, if you want to survive, must be the same. I don't enter trades every day. I don't chase setups just because they look good. I only act when the market reveals one thing: imbalance. Not in indicators, not in news, but in the discrepancy between crowd emotions and big money behavior. I call it the moment of dissonance. Like this: amazing news is released, but price doesn't go up. Price breaks new highs, but volume is falling. Perfect bullish engulfing candle. Everyone jumps in, and price stalls, then drops. That's when I sit up. Because when great news hits and price doesn't rise, it means the big players have stopped buying. When price climbs without momentum, it means the big boys are distributing. When everyone is convinced of one direction, it's the opposite direction that offers liquidity to accumulate. I don't try to catch tops or bottoms. I don't aim to ride the full trend. I just wait for the exact moment the market starts lying. And when it does, I react. No hesitation, not many trades, but every trade with intent, like a blade from an assassin, clean, precise, needing no second attempt. I'm not smarter than others. I'm just more patient. I don't read indicators better. I just read people by how they react to price. You can learn every tool out there, but if you don't recognize when the market is putting on a show, you'll end up playing a role in someone else's script. And you'll lose, not because you're bad, but because you're acting in someone else's story. My strategy doesn't live on a setup sheet. It lives in a journal. Is there news today? What is the crowd expecting? Is price behaving strangely? Are there footprints from the big boys? I don't need to be right every day. I just need to be right once when the whole market is lost. Because being right once at the market's blind spot is worth more than 10 small wins, followed by one massive trap that kills your account. If you want to trade long-term, drop the mindset of making profits daily. Sharks don't profit daily. They wait. They let you make mistakes. Then they strike, cold, calculated, without mercy. And you must learn to wait too. Not waiting to get in, but waiting to catch that moment when the market loses itself. I once witnessed a textbook example of market dissonance. Right when the Russia-Ukraine war broke out, news exploded everywhere. Social media went crazy. Everyone thought gold was about to fly. Analysis groups flooded with calls to all-in long gold, fueled by one idea: war equals price surge. And then, gold did rise. 2 massive green candles straight up. People were ecstatic, live streams, hype, everyone sharing their setups. But I sat there, still, watching. Not moving, because I didn't see confirmation from the big money. Volume wasn't matching. The chart was chaotic. No clear structure. That wasn't strength. That was raw emotion, erupting. 3 days later, gold collapsed. Fast, sudden, no warning. Everything reversed as if nothing had ever happened. That's when I entered, short. Not because I was smarter, but because I was patient enough not to get swept up in the crowd's emotions. You have to understand this. The crowd trades on emotion. The sharks trade on plans, and you have to choose. Which side are you on? If you open your chart only to look for entry points, you'll constantly fall for the traps. But if you open your chart to look for mistakes, you'll start to see opportunity. I live by one rule. The market doesn't have to be right. It just needs to fool enough people. Then it moves in the direction it always intended. So when you see a breakout but no volume, don't trust it. When the crowd is celebrating, stay out. When price is pumping but all the news is already out, that's when it's time to doubt. My trading strategy isn't about being right. It's about waiting for wrong. Waiting for a bad reaction, a distorted expectation, an emotional overreach. And when the market slips, that's when I strike. Fast, clean, no hesitation, no regret. You don't need many trades. You just need one trade. That hits the blind spot of the crowd. I call it trading like an assassin. Never strike first. Only act when the target turns its back. Remember this. Trading with tools always one step behind. Trading on emotion looks always manipulated. Trading with money flow reflex one step ahead. And in this survival game, being just one step ahead is enough not to be eaten. I know. You didn't come here just to hear some empty philosophy. You came here because you're searching for something real, a foothold in a market that shifts every second. And I'm not going to fool you with pretty promises. I won't promise that you'll make tons of money after watching this video. I won't promise you'll become a millionaire or win every single trade. I won't paint a picture of some relaxed trader in a beach resort doubling accounts with a few clicks. I'm not selling you a dream. But there is one thing I know for sure. At some point, in one of the videos I've shared, a single sentence, a short clip, a quiet moment will hit something in you. It will strike the blind spot in your trading mindset. And when it does, you'll never see the market the same way again. You'll stop entering trades just because the conditions are met. You'll stop chasing the so-called safe setups. You'll begin to question everything. And from that moment, your thinking changes. No fireworks, no big celebration. Just a quiet shift that lasts forever. Trading isn't a shortcut to riches. It's a journey of transformation. From someone who reacts to the market to someone who can step outside it and see clearly. I won't promise you wealth, but if you're still here, listening, then I know you're not here just to dream. You're here for the truth. And the truth is always cold, but it's the only thing that can keep you alive. I have a friend. He used to be one of the best traders I'd ever known. No bragging, no preaching, no need to prove anything. He just won, consistently, cleanly, cold as steel. I used to think, if anyone's going to become a legend, it'll be him. He started with a few $1,000s, then tens of thousands. Within a year, his account reached the hundreds of thousands. Not from luck, not from signals, but from something rare in this game. The ability to stay out when everyone else was jumping in. I once asked him, "How do you know when not to enter a trade?" He said, "When the word certain pops into my mind, that's when I stay out." I heard it, nodded, and moved on. But later, I realized that was the most valuable sentence in his entire trading career. And then, one day, he FOMO'd. Just once. The market crashed hard, bad news everywhere. Panic all around. He thought, this is the golden opportunity. No setup, no discipline, no reflex. Just emotion sneaking into the cracks of his confidence. He entered big, then held, then tried to recover, then collapsed. In just 3 days, his $300,000 account dropped to under $10,000. I called. No answer. The last time I saw him was at a small cafe. He looked thinner, worn out, quiet. I asked him, "You coming back?" He gave a faint smile. Trading didn't kill me. I killed myself when I thought I had the market all figured out. Hearing this might send chills down your spine, but this is the truth. And no course will ever teach it to you, because the market doesn't care how good you are. It only needs one thing to destroy you: your illusion of certainty. Trading has no room for arrogance, and it offers no reward for those who react with emotion. The ones who survive are not the ones who are right most often. They're the ones who make the fewest stupid mistakes. If you're still here listening, I want you to remember this. Question everything you believe. Because what makes you lose isn't a lack of knowledge, it's believing the wrong thing too deeply. No one can give you the perfect roadmap. Not even me. I'm not the best. But I've lost enough, failed enough, and survived enough to tell you this. Trading is not for those seeking perfection. It's for those who can wait, who can doubt themselves, and who know when to pull their hand back the moment emotion takes the wheel. You can keep chasing magic formulas. You can keep watching those green and red arrows blink on your screen. But if one night, after a losing trade, you suddenly wake up and ask yourself, what does this market really run on? That moment, you'll remember this video. And I know, somewhere in here, there's a sentence that won't make you rich overnight, but it will change how you survive in this game, forever. Welcome to Buy Sell Limit, a channel not for dream chasers, but for those seeking to live real to last, in a market built on illusions. And if you're ready to become a real player, watch again from the beginning. Because maybe, while you weren't paying attention, the rules already changed.